Hi students, my name is Kenaras, working as a assistant professor in the Department of Civil Engineering. So today I am explaining about exogenous hazards. This is the topic, one of the important topic in the disaster management. So before going to the exogenous hazards, you have to know the definition of the exogenous hazards. These hazards are which originate outside of the earth surface, that means atmosphere, that is known as a exogenous hazards. Examples are lightning, thunderstorms, hailstorms, cyclones, floods, drought, soil erosion, and etc. So now coming to the first exogenous hazard is cyclone. Cyclone is a very large scale amount of air mass that rotates around a strong center of low atmospheric pressure. So these cyclones are very powerful and violent windstorms in which wind moves very fast in a circular direction around a low pressure area. The basic principle of the air. So air means it is the wind. Our surrounding air is called as a wind. That wind, it is always blows to high pressure to low pressure area. High pressure to low pressure area. These cyclones are very large scale mass rotates around a low atmospheric pressure. So this pressure in this, for example, we take the oceans or seas. So we clearly observe that the amount of water is going to be evaporated in the form of water vapor due to the warm air. So it means that due to the temperature is about 27 degree plus or minus 2 degrees centigrade, that will directly impact on the oceans, that result in to increase the to increase the water evaporation amount, so which is reaches to the high altitudes and it is formed to condensation. So to form to the condensation, in that process the middle part of the oceans is created a spin. The spin is called as a eye. The spin is called as a eye. The eye is also called as a low pressure area. In that area, that will attract the cold air which is near to the low pressure area. Thus result in wind spin around the low pressure area. That pressure of air mass is called as a cyclone. That pressure is called as a cyclone. The wind blows in anti-clockwise in the northern hemisphere and clockwise in southern hemisphere. So in this clockwise and anti-clockwise, you clearly observe that the image shows the earth, it is a oblate spiral shape. So the red color is represents the northern hemisphere, and blue color, violet color is represents the southern hemisphere. So due to the correlative effect, the rotation of the earth that causes the all moving objects in the northern hemisphere, including air and mass, and to deflect to the right. Those in the southern hemisphere, they move to the left. So this is the correlative effect absent at the equator. Because of that equator is 0 degree centigrade. So due to this correlative force, it prevents a direct simple flow from the equator to the poles, and this is also called as a ferric law. So if you clearly observe that, so the sun rays directly will impact on the tidal plan impact in the tropics of the Capricorn and tropics of the Cancer, so which is present in the warm air. So the warm air attracts the cool air. The warm air, it moves to the upward, and cool air moves to the tropic zones. So thus result in the wind blows always anti-clockwise in northern hemisphere and clockwise in southern hemisphere. These cyclones are various names in the different part of the world. So that is, in the cyclones, it is also called as a typhoons in the region of the China Sea and the Pacific Ocean. These cyclones is called as a hurricanes in the region of Caribbean Sea and Atlantic Ocean. These cyclones are called as a tornadoes in the region of the southern part of the USA, and it is called as a willy willies in the part of the region is Australia. Next one is tropical cyclones. This is the region of the Indian Ocean. Indian Ocean. So now coming to the types of cyclones. So based upon the structure on the area of the origin, cyclones are classified into two types. So first one is tropical cyclone and second one is extra tropical cyclones. So tropical cyclones are formed between the tropics of the Cancer and Capricorn is called as a tropical cyclone. If you clearly observe that at the equator above that line is represents the Tropic of Cancer, and below the equator the line represents the Tropics of Cancer. So in this tropical region the sunrise will directly impact on this region. Thus in that region the air, the wind is turned into a warm air. That warm air which is resulting due to the temperature, the warm air, it is reaches to the high altitudes or high altitudes that result in to condition formation. So in the tropics region it attracts the cold air. That's why the Arctic circle and Antarctic circle, the air attacks to the center of the equator. So from the south to it is rotates a left, and from the south region it is rotates a right. So it means so anti-clockwise in northern hemisphere and clockwise in southern hemisphere. So now coming to the second type, that is extratropical cyclones. These cyclones develop over a temperature zones and high altitude regions is called as a extratropical cyclones. These extratropical cyclones is called as a temperature cyclones. It means the middle tropical region of the cyclone, the sunrise directly impact. So later on that the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere and behind the tropic regions the sunrise will directly impact on, does not direct impact. So maybe they reduce the impacts of ultraviolet rays, thus result in the cyclones are called as a extra tropical cyclones. It means simply it is known as Gande. So other than the tropical cyclones is called as a extra tropical cyclones. These are also called as a temperature cyclones. So based upon the Indian Meteorological Department, so the cyclones are classified into, so based on the wind speed. So the wind speed is less than 31 km per hour. That is region is called as a low pressure region. The wind speed lies between 31 to 49. The type of disturbance is depression. So that surface wind speed lies between 49 to 61 kilometers per hour. The type of disturbance is deep depression. So the surface wind lies between 61 to 88 km per hour. The type of disturbance is cyclone storm. The surface wind speed lies between 88 to 117 km per hour. The type of disturbance is severe cyclone. That surface wind speed is lies between 117 to 220 km per hour. The type of disturbance is very severe cyclone. That surface wind speed is greater than the 221 km per hour. The type of disturbance is super cyclone. So this completely based upon the wind speed which is present on the low pressure area surrounding the wind blows. That classification based upon the wind speed, based upon the wind speed. So now coming to the formation of the cyclone, you have clearly observed that. So the blue color is represents the oceans or ocean water. So in this ocean water, so the center blue color point it is represents the eye. The blue color it is represents the eye. and surroundings the red color arrows is represents the warm moisture air rising, moisture air rising. As air rising, it is reaches to the outflow that reaches to the high altitudes. So that pressure, that area is converted into a low pressure area. That low pressure area attracts the cold surrounding cold air that will replace the warm air it place with cold air. That cold air is spin surrounding a low pressure area. That pressure area is called as a cyclone. So in this region, the formation of the cyclone, first one is warm ocean water. So in this stage, cyclones typically form over the ocean water. It is usually at a temperature of at least 20 degrees centigrade plus or minus 2 degrees centigrade. So the heat provides the energy needed for the storm. So now second stage is evaporation and moisture. So in this stage, the warm air evaporates, increasing the humidity in the atmosphere. As the moisture air rises, it cools condensation, releasing latent heat which further fuels the storm. Now coming to the start stage, that is low pressure area. The pre-existing low pressure area is crucial. As air rises, it creates a vacuum that draws into the surrounding air. It contributes the cyclone's development. And final stage is corrosive effect. The rotation of the earth, due to the corrosive effect, the movement of the rotation of the earth is necessary for the cyclones to develop a rotating structure. This effect causes the storm to spin counterclockwise in northern hemisphere and clockwise in southern hemisphere. So this is the formation of the cyclone. You have clearly observed that. So now coming to the structure of the tropical cyclones. In these structures, there are mainly four components are there. So first one is eye, and the second one is eye wall, and the third one is rain bands, and fourth one is outflow. So you clearly observe that the red color is represents the eye, then the surrounding white wall is represents the eye wall, and blue color bottom of the white in the blue color is represents the rain bands. So now coming to the first eye, the calm center of the cyclone is called as a eye. It is typically 20 to 50 kilometers wide. In the eye, winds are light and skies can be clear. So you clearly observe that the blue color is represents the eye. It is the diameter of the 20 to 50 kilometers. So based upon the different types of cyclones, based upon the diameter of the eye, that's why cyclones are classified. The cyclones are called as a different names in the different regions of the part of the world. Now coming to the second part, that is eye wall. This eye wall surrounding the eye. The eye wall is a ring of towering thunderstorms where the moisture and the most intense winds and rainfall occurs. This is the most destructive part of the cyclone. So which means which means that the eye wall is protected the eye. The diameter of the cyclone between the kilometers, it is tends to create a or produce a rainfall occurrence. Now coming to the third part, that is rain bands. These are spiral bands of the clouds and precipitation that extended outward from the eye wall. These rain bands can bringing the heavy rains and strong winds. Sometimes it's causing the flood and severe weather. So which is a simple meaning that these rain bands are which is used to the precipitation and flood water is going to be one region to another regions, or low pressure area to high pressure area transfer to. These rain bands are used to travel the precipitation in certain distances. That creates a flood water. And third, fourth part is outflow. At high altitudes, the outflow of the air from the top of the storm helps to maintain the low pressure area in the center. This is a crucial for the cyclone's development and incentification. So it's simply meaning that the order flow of the wind blows always spin in a counterclockwise direction. Thus result in to properly maintain a low pressure at center point of the ocean. Now coming to the effects of cyclone. So first, the cyclones are first it creates a or it produces a heavy rainfall, intensive heavy rainfall, thus leading to the create flash flooding and river flooding and landslides. This can disrupt the transportation system and contaminated of the water supplies in mint water bodies, and pose a health risk. It means simple meanings river flooding. It means it creates a flash flood as a result in the in the dam water and the reservoir the catchment of the storage of water will increase to that it will increases that result in the that flood water is overflowing on the body of the dam and reservoir, thus creates a river flooding. And second effect is storm surge. This result in the rise in the sea level caused by the cyclone can lead to the coastal flooding, and storm surges can inundate the low-lying areas, damaging property and displacing communities. And third one is loss of life. These cyclones can result in the loss of life due to drowning and injuries from the debris or health issues related to the flooding and displacement. And fourth one is economic impact. So these cyclones are damage to infrastructure and also homes and also business. It can have a long term economic consequences because property damage and infrastructure damage, they may be create a recreational activities. They invest huge amount of budget or huge amount of budget allocated to the reconstruction of the buildings and recreation of the environment, thus result in the economical impact. And fifth one is displacement of the communities. Cyclones can force to people to evacuate their homes, leading to the temporary or permanent displacement. So it means that they move to the who they are wisdoms, they move to the safer places. Government or organizations provide a temporary shelters. So now coming to the sixth type, that is ecosystem disruption. So in this ecosystem, the balance should be natural resources and natural component maybe get imbalance, maybe consumption is more and wastage of the resources is more due to the cyclones. And next one is public health issues. Flooding can lead to the waterborne diseases and mold growth and other health risks and cold, cough and respiratory problems. It creates a, and the next one is it will also impact the psychological disasters, and the survivors may experience the trauma, anxiety and stress due to the disruption of the property and the homes and the essential needs, and also loss experienced during and after a cyclone. Now coming to the mitigation measures, every disaster first to give the early warning systems through via television and radio and social media and poster presentation and voice recordings. Through early warning system, they migrated into the safer places. They will reduces the impacts of the cyclone. And the second mitigation measure is emergency preparedness plans. So in these plans, our response is very quick. So because our response is very quickly, thus result in the to reduce the impacts of any hazard. Our response is very low, so impacts are very high. So that's why loss of life and mortality rate and also injuries may be increased. Now third one is coastal defenses. So in these defenses, to improve the constructional solutions to construct the barriers to across the wind direction, and also to construct the to promote afforestation. It protected act as a barrier to increase the impacts of disaster. Now coming to the next mitigation measure, that is land use planning. So in this planning, in this planning, the land hazardous prone areas, the development should be restricted in that area, thus resulting to reduce the impacts of disaster. Next mitigation measure is community education and training. So in this phase, education and training, which is helps to how to react and how to act to minimize the impacts of disaster. Last one is insurance and financial preparedness. To encourage the communities to business to invest the insurance and finance plannings, it can help to recover more quickly after a cyclone.